This podcast is produced and managed by Kangaroo Fern Media Lab, Australia's independent video and podcast company. We do the podcasting hard bits so you don't have to. We make podcasts easy. Book a call at www.kangaroofern.com. www.kangaroofern.com.
When is enough enough? Pod friends, have you ever felt the pressure to keep on working and working? Because if you stop, you'd feel like a failure. When you're not doing anything, you feel that there's this discomfort, and you feel the fear, and there's shame whenever you're not doing anything. That's what we're going to talk about today. That is toxic productivity. You are listening to episode 17 of Wellness Friday with Coach Joy Karen.
Let's talk well-being and mental health. Whether you're an aspiring coach, content creator, or podcaster, you need to take care of yourself as well. Wellness Friday with Coach Joy Karen.
Hey pod friends, how are you doing? This is Joy Karen, your creativity coach, here once again for Wellness Friday. This show is a weekly show created for podcasters and content creators in mind. And this show aims to talk about creativity, inspiration, and overall well-being so you can keep on doing what you love most. First, let me thank my podcast management group, Miko of Kangaroo Fern Media Lab, and to your amazing team for this platform and for the opportunity to spread the spark of creativity all over. So more and more people can do what they love most as they hashtag sparkle within. When is enough enough? Pod friends, have you ever felt the pressure to keep on working and working? Because if you stop, you'd feel like a failure. When you're not doing anything, you feel that there's this discomfort, and you feel the fear, and there's shame whenever you're not doing anything. And that is what we're going to talk about today. All about toxic productivity. According to Dr. Julie Smith, toxic productivity is this obsession with radical self-improvement above all else. And the result is that no matter how productive you are, you're always left with that guilty feeling of not having done more. I can't help but remember the Dementors from Harry Potter when I think about toxic productivity. Because for me, toxic productivity can be compared to Dementors because they feed and suck you dry of any sense of joy and satisfaction from any or from all aspects of your life. So it then pushes us to ride this negative cycle of pushing ourselves more and more. Nothing seems to quench the thirst of doing something. And there's this thought that if we are not doing anything at all, then we are a failure. It causes us to magnify the things that we haven't done rather than focusing on the many things that we have actually accomplished. When you experience toxic productivity, celebrating wins is so hard and so challenging and most times underrated. Most people are not even familiar with this, and at times they are unsure of what and how to celebrate the wins. Mostly, we're familiar with celebrating the big wins. Why? Because that's what we see on social media. Billionaire at 24, CEO at 26, retired at 30. This might seem like an aspiration for some, but it can also be damaging.
We will be right back.
Are you passionate to help other podcasters? Wanted to connect to growth-minded podcasters and service providers? The Podcast Creators Society is now open for new members. Head over to www.podcastcreatorsociety.com/community. Are you ready to finally start your own podcast? Maybe you already have one, but need a podcast manager to help you level up. We're here for either. Book a call at www.kangaroofern.com www.kangaroofern.com.
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. Thank you for your support. Now, back to the show.
Many consider this as their hashtag goals, and there's mountains of this on social media. Further pushing us a norm, or pushing us to this thought that it is a norm that this should be everyone's reality, that it is what you should aim for. This is tagged as the hustle culture. Well, I think it's just a spiced up, modernized version of workaholism. Aiming high is good. But when did it become so toxic? I remember one of my clients who shared her realization when she needed to take care of her father after his father experienced a health emergency. His dad was a highly productive and recognized man in his field who was very dedicated to his work. Unfortunately, she saw how his father struggled to accept that he was unable to work as efficiently as before. This had a huge impact on her outlook. She now looks at career as just part of her life, and it should not be the focus of her entire life. And in looking for jobs, she values time with people she loves, rather than the hustle, which is what most of her friends are doing. Productivity becomes toxic when our health, relationships, and our life is at stake. Well, hustling hard cannot buy back time. Again, aiming high is not entirely bad. We need to set our goals high enough, so we help ourselves to do more, to be more, and to live more. But like everything else, when it gets out of control, when it lacks clarity, when it lacks direction, when it is too much, it can hurt us. It can rob us of what we could have spent more time, and where it can rob us of what we could have spent more intently with things that we truly love, with things that make us feel more alive, and time that we could have spent with people who bring more joy and meaning to our lives. On our next episode, we'll talk about the ways in dealing with toxic productivity. Because yes, pod friends, there is hope. That's it for today, friends, and I hope that this sparks something meaningful in you. If you'd like to listen more of Wellness Fridays with Coach Joy Karen, don't forget to subscribe. If you want to connect with me, you can do so by looking for me on Facebook. Just search Joy Karen, the Creativity Coach. The conversation doesn't end here, pod friends. You're more than welcome to join us over at the Podcast Creator Society. The link is on the description. where we are welcoming founding members. So you can join a community of podcasters, helping other podcasters in this wonderful community and this wonderful platform of sending our message across all over the world. And if you're also interested, you can also join us at the Podcast Freelancers Hub. If you feel that this is worth sharing, please do so. And if you know someone who might be needing that reminder, that slight nudge that, hey, take time, take breaks, then please do so. You can send this to them and it would remind them to really slow down a bit, to appreciate what they have achieved. Again, thank you for listening, and I'll see you again next week. And before I go, let me remind you to keep on doing what you love most, because that is how you #sparkle within. Bye, everyone!
Are you ready to finally start your own podcast? Maybe you already have one, but need a podcast manager to help you level up. We're here for either. Book a call at www.kangaroofern.com. www.kangaroofern.com.